If you grew up in a house with floral sofas, wood paneling, and a VCR flashing 12 o'clock, you probably also remember a wave of wildly specific gadgets that promised to modernize every corner of domestic life. Today, we're counting down 10 of the weirdest 1980s home appliances that once felt futuristic and now feel like time capsules. No repeats from the 1970s, this is peak 80s excess, optimism, and just a pinch of gadget madness. Let's plug in. Number 1. The automatic bread maker. Before artisan sourdough was a thing, the late 80s were convinced a countertop robot could bake a perfect loaf while you slept. You'd dump in flour, yeast, sugar, hit a membrane button program, and wake to a rectangular loaf with a telltale paddle hole in the bottom. It made houses smell amazing and produced bread with a strangely uniform crumb and shiny crust. For busy families, it felt like culinary science fiction. Why we don't use it anymore? The loaves were oddly shaped, the machines took up prime counter real estate, and by the 2000s people either embraced bakery bread or learned to bake in an oven for better texture. Still, hearing that beeping finish cycle was a tiny 1980s miracle. Number 2. The Standalone VHS tape rewinder. Yes, the VCR could rewind your tapes, but that took ages and supposedly wore out the heads. Enter a separate brick, sometimes shaped like a sports car, dedicated to one job: rewind. Drop in a cassette, slam the lid, and it screamed like a tiny jet engine until the ribbon hit the leader. Parents loved it, video stores loved it even more, and every living room with a rental habit had one. Why it vanished? DVDs and streaming made the phrase, "Be kind, rewind," a quaint historical artifact. And the rewinder's only trick became unnecessary overnight. Number 3. Ultrasonic jewelry cleaners. These little countertop tubs used high-frequency vibrations in water, often with a blue-tinted cleaning solution, to shake off grime from rings and chains. The marketing felt space-age, bubbles you couldn't see doing a microscopic scrub. Owners loved watching a dull ring come out sparkling until they tried cleaning everything else in the house. Why it faded? Jewelry stores offered professional cleaning, people got nervous about damaging stones, and for occasional needs, a toothbrush and dish soap won on price, space, and simplicity. Number 4. The facial sauna and steam inhaler. Part spa, part medical device, this plastic cone delivered warm mist straight to your face. Beauty magazines promised unclogged pores and a salon glow at home, while the box also hinted at congestion relief during winter colds. It had an on-off switch, a tiny water reservoir, and sometimes a timer that ticked loudly in a quiet bathroom. Why it slipped away? The results were inconsistent. The contraptions were bulky, and the wellness trend moved towards sheet masks, serums, and compact nano steamers. The 80s cone feels adorably over-optimized for one very steamy task. Number 5. Ionic and Ozone-style air purifiers. The 80s loved sleek towers with touch panels and promises of fresh mountain air, delivered via ionization or a whiff of ozone. These sat next to houseplants like high-tech totems of cleanliness. They weren't just appliances, they were aspirational lifestyle objects you'd see in glossy catalogues. Why they're out of favour? The tech got criticised for questionable effectiveness, and in some cases for byproducts you didn't want in your air. Modern HEPA purifiers took over with measurable filtration and fewer sci-fi claims. Number 6. Electric foot spas and massager baths. After a day in pumps or high tops, nothing said luxury like a beige plastic tub that bubbled your toes with a roaring hum. Some models heated water, others relied on your kettle and Optimism. Rollers massaged arches, splash guards never worked, and the vibration noise could compete with a blender. It was a gift-giving staple. Half spa day, half novelty. Why it faded? Storage headaches, splashy messes, and the realization that a warm bath and a manual roller did 80% of the job without a motor. Number 7. Raclette party grills with mini pans. If the 70s brought fondue, the 80s added raclette to the dinner party circuit. A 2-level tabletop machine with a grill on top and tiny, adorable pans underneath where you melted cheese into molten bliss. It felt modern, social, and a little bit rebellious to cook at the table. Why it drifted out. Great for a few winter nights, then a year of dust. Hosting trends changed, And flexible tools like a regular grill or oven proved easier than dedicating a cupboard to a device you only used when snow fell and you'd bought too much cheese. Number 8. Ultrasonic Pest Repellers. Plug-in boxes promised to chase mice and roaches away with high-frequency sound humans couldn't hear. The appeal was obvious. No traps, no poison, just a sci-fi force field around your baseboards. Some units had blinking LEDs to prove they were mysteriously working. Why they lost steam, mixed results, little hard proof at home scale, and a general shift back to old school methods that you could see actually doing something. They remain a fascinating snapshot of the decade's faith in invisible tech. Number 9. Countertop water ionizers. Marketed heavily in the late 80s, these units hooked to your tap and boasted alkaline and acidic water at the press of a button. The promise blended health claims, a whisper of medical electronics, and the allure of custom water as the ultimate upgrade. Families filled labeled jugs like amateur lab techs. Why they dwindled? The science didn't match the hype for everyday wellness. Filters got cheaper and simpler, and the average kitchen decided a good pitcher and a fridge shelf was the sweet spot between taste and sanity. Number 10. The electric sandwich maker / toastie press. If there's one smell that defines late 80s kitchens, it's the sizzling of buttered bread pressed into golden triangles. The electric sandwich maker, also known as the toastie press, promised a cafe-style grilled snack in minutes. You'd load it with ham, cheese, or anything you could find in the fridge, clamp it shut, and listen to the satisfying hiss as the edges sealed like crispy pockets of lava. Why it felt revolutionary. It was fast, comforting, and made even the cheapest ingredients taste indulgent. Why it disappeared. Cleaning it was a nightmare, the plates trapped burnt cheese forever, and the limited sandwich size made it impractical for most families. Still, nothing quite beats that nostalgic crunch of a perfectly sealed 1980s toastie. Why these existed. The 80s were a perfect storm. Cheaper electronics, glossy lifestyle marketing, and a cultural obsession with convenience and futurism. Kitchens suddenly had microwaves, digital clocks, and touch panels. If a job existed, rewinding tapes, melting cheese, steaming paws, there was a plastic box to automate it. These appliances weren't just tools, they were props in the story of a modern household where every problem could be solved with the right button. Why they disappeared. 3 reasons. First, Convergence. One good appliance replaced 5 niche ones. A modern purifier with HEPA beats ion sticks, a food processor beats a slicer, an oven beats a single-purpose grill. Second, friction. The weirdest devices often had more setup, more noise, and more cleanup than the old-fashioned method. Third, taste and space. As minimalism rose, people questioned whether the results justified a drawer full of oddly shaped attachments. Home cappuccino steamers with temperamental wands, microwave browning gadgets, countertop ice shavers for neon slushies, and electronic fabric shavers that de-pilled sweaters with the drama of a tiny lawnmower. All wonderfully 80s, all sacrificed at the altar of practicality. From bread makers to tape rewinders, these relics capture a decade that believed technology could domesticate life's tiniest chores. They're quirky, noisy, and weirdly lovable. Which of these lived in your house or still hides in a cabinet at your parents' place? Tell us your favorites in the comments, and if you want more deep dives into the everyday tech of yesterday, hit subscribe. This is Past and Present. See you in the next one.